In I, Frankenstein, 200 years have passed since the creation of Victor Frankenstein's creature, played by Aaron Eckhart, who in this movie is simply called Adam. A lot's changed in that time, and any knowledge of Frankenstein or his work has all but vanished from human history. However, behind the scenes, a centuries-old war wages between gargoyles and demons, and Adam finds himself caught in the middle as he discovers that he holds the key to immortality and thus the fate of humankind. Adam is a thoughtful, complex, and well-spoken individual, but he hasn't tapped into his own humanity yet. That begins to change when he meets Tara, played by Yvonne Strahovski, a human scientist who, as luck would have it, is attempting to unlock the secrets of human reanimation. Unbeknownst to her, she's also working for Nibirius, the demon leader, who's hellbent on wiping out the human race. So yeah, I, Frankenstein's not a masterclass in storytelling. But you've got to hand it to writer-director Stuart Beattie for building a world that feels markedly different from past iterations of Frankenstein. There's also quite a bit of backstory on the gargoyle culture in particular, which in itself is pretty interesting. Eckhart's performance here is good, although he's portraying a character that's inherently stoic and uncaring. It's actually his scenes with Miranda Otto, who plays the gargoyle queen Leonore, that's the most striking, and their strong, on-screen dynamic helps elevate some of the film's heavy-handed dialogue. Sadly, Bill Nighy's phoned-in portrayal of Nibirius is completely generic, and the obvious weak link of the supernatural trio. Meanwhile, Strahovski's Tara, who represents one of only 2 human characters in the movie, adds a much-needed sense of reality to the story. Without her character, you probably wouldn't even know that this is supposed to take place in our world. At no point do any of the humans see the chaos that ensues their city streets, nor do they take notice of the giant, lavish church that's completely occupied by gargoyles. As for Strahovski, she plays her part well, even if her character never reacts accordingly to what's happening around her. Now, most of this stuff wouldn't be much of a problem if I, Frankenstein were a little more lax in its tone, but the truth is that the writing takes itself way too seriously. Luckily, the action is pretty sweet looking, and that's really the selling point of I, Frankenstein anyway. Above all, this film is an action thriller, not a drama or a horror flick, and it should be viewed that way. Basically, as long as your only expectation for this movie is that Aaron Eckhart beats the living snot out of some demons and gargoyles, then you won't be disappointed. IGN is giving I, Frankenstein a 6.0.
What is the use of possessing a corpse?
There is none. Unless you can animate that corpse. Nibirius has been planning this for centuries. Victor Frankenstein just made it possible.